If you don't like Obama, guess what? You is a racist. I said it, and I'm gonna keep on saying it, because I voted for President Obama because he was black.
And people even said that to me, which is, are you gonna vote for just cause she black? Yes.
He black, he black, he black. He black, he black, he black.
You ain't black.
You know, when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
Can anyone be black? The short answer is yes. But it's not so cut and dry as to what it is that constitutes blackness. Blackness is volatile. So if you were to simply look at the way that blackness is often referred to as something that can be revoked, as in losing your black card, then it begs the question, is black an illusion? I mean, it certainly can't be anything that is inherent to your being from birth, if it is subject to the possibility of being confiscated based off of how you behave from moment to moment. But whatever black is, apparently if you are non-black, you can earn an honorary title of blackness, and based solely off of how you behave from moment to moment. So I remember once I saw an Ethiopian.
I never felt that I was a Negro till I came to this country.
Why?
Because my tutor in the monastery told me that I was not a Negro, but I was a sunburned Hebrew.
Now this Ethiopian was a Hebrew until he came to America. So this melanated individual only learned of his supposed blackness when he began to interact with a culture outside of his own. And if he were to take a stand and emphatically declare that he was absolutely not black, then there would be somebody who would take offense and call him a sellout.
A sellout.
But is he really a sellout? Actually, he's not. See, the reality is that there's more than one type of black. I have found that there are 4 types of blackness, but most people don't know that. And if you don't define the type of blackness that someone is when they identify as black,
Gonna be trouble. Trouble.
I have to be honest with you there, Queen Mother. I've done my own research on Miss Kamala Harris, and I am not a fan. I'm just going to be honest. And for me, we have to be clear about something. The reason so many are focused on her racial ancestry is because she has offered Black people nothing else except her racial ancestry as a reason to vote for her. In my research, it appears that she may have a Black grandparent. It looks like the father's mother may have been Black, but someone showed me a much clearer picture of her paternal grandmother, and she appears to be a dark-skinned East Indian. So I am not convinced that Kamala Harris is of African ancestry, not directly. Jamaican is a nationality. Jamaica is not a race. You have white Jamaicans, you have Chinese Jamaicans, you have East Indian Jamaicans. So I need to see proof that she's Black. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Even if she is a quadroon is someone with one Black grandparent. An octoroon is someone with one Black great-grandparent. Even if she is a quadroon or an octoroon, she's not getting Dr. Umar's vote until she speaks to the issues that are relevant to Black people. We learned from Barack Obama what happens when you vote for people just because they Black.
I voted for President Obama because he was Black.
The first type of Black is genetic Black. Now, genetic Black is a play on the one-drop rule. And the one-drop rule essentially states that if you have one drop of Negro blood or Black blood, then that makes you Black. And while a lot of so-called Black people use that theory as a reason to adopt someone into Blackness, the real purpose of the one-drop rule was to keep Black folks from laying claim to their birthright. black folks can't own land or if black folks can't inherit anything, then how do you reconcile the plight of the mulatto? See, if the white slave master is running around making babies from here to kingdom come with every black slave woman in sight, then by birthright, because these biracial children are his offspring, they have an equal stake in his estate when he dies.
No! God, please, no! No!
Well, not if the law excludes black people. So just call them black, and by law, they inherit nothing. So that's the gist and the purpose of the one-drop rule. And the one-drop rule is the culprit for the first type of black, genetic blackness. See, genetic black technically allows for anyone to attach themselves to blackness by way of having an African ancestor. This is why Fat Joe can claim that all Latinos are black.
And let's speak about Latinos not being black. Latinos are black.
And this is why East Indians can also attach themselves to blackness.
Indian people, we believe we are black people. We know.
Do you?
That
is not true.
Well,
Who
you should
believes
Google
they're
it.
black people?
Because we came from Africa.
Because if everyone has an African ancestor, if they were to trace back far enough, then by virtue of the one-drop rule, the entire world is arguably black, which allows for anyone to opt in and out of blackness as they see fit.
I thought we had progressed way beyond the term of unfortunate.
But we have not. Dolores, we have not.
But
the unfortunate thing is that while we are 100 years beyond the Civil War, the basic frame of reference, the basic value system of American culture says positively, unequivocally, if you're black, get back. If you're white, you're right. If you're brown, stick around.
May I interrupt you?
Yes.
I am neither black nor white. Where do I go?
Well, you are what we would call in the French, I guess, and that perhaps this is the reason why French is the language of diplomacy. You are neither comme ci nor comme ça. You are quelque chose in the middle.
Now, the next type of black is phenotypical black. And this is the type of black that is also genetic, but it's the reason why Lena Horne has to tell you that she's black, but Harriet Tubman ain't gotta say a thing. Lena Horne had racial ambiguity, but Harriet Tubman was as black as 1159. So phenotypical black perhaps is the original context of what it meant to be black. It was a descriptive term that focused on the outward appearance, which may be why it was common to hear a so-called black person say, "I'm black, but not black black." Now, did you hear what the one lady said?
I am neither black nor white. Where do I go?
Now, is she saying that she has no African ancestry? No. Is she saying that none of her predecessors were enslaved on a plantation in the United States? No. But what she is saying is that when it comes to navigating the system of race in America, she does not have the same obstacles as Harriet Tubman, or that Harriet Tubman might have, in that she does not fit the criteria for phenotypical blackness. Though she may have certain so-called black features, she benefits from racial ambiguity because she does not have the black skin.
Good evening and welcome to the first and maybe only racial draft here in New York City. Folks, this is for all the marbles. What happens here will state the racial standing of these Americans once and for all.
Black delegation request Eminem.
Wait a goddamn minute, Rondell. That's not part of the party.
Okay. Hustling, baby.
All right, well, no hustling me.
The next type of black is cultural black. Cultural black is a type of blackness that I would argue is exclusive to America, particularly the United States, where every other so-called black person has a cultural title. A culture that is referred to as simply black culture, in my findings, has only been found in America, the United States. There are cultures that people have who call themselves black, and then there's black culture. This is the culture that is commonly found amongst the descendants of the American slaves. It is why we all know the response to God is good. and is why we don't put raisins in potato salad. See, this includes our music as well as the way we speak. And this is the type of blackness that I believe Rachel Dolezal was making her claims of blackness in. And for those of y'all who don't know Rachel Dolezal, we addressed her in Chapter 1, so be sure to review Part 1 to bring you up to speed. Now, people like Rachel Dolezal who have studied a culture or a culture of people, they may live with these people, they may work with these people, or even go to an HBCU with these people, as Rachel Dolezal did. And after being in close proximity to this particular culture of people for an extended period of time, they can develop an affinity for this culture and ultimately adopt the culture for themselves and convince themselves that the summation of these people lies in attitude and vernacular.
Catch me outside, how about that?
So once they've mastered that, then they call themselves by these people's names. See, the symbolism of black culture is also why non-black politicians can earn an honorary title of blackness by simply resembling something or doing something that originated in or is predominantly found amongst American black society. So Kamala went to an HBCU, and this is somehow used as evidence of her blackness. And then there's also Bill Clinton, who suddenly became black all because of the fact that he blew some air into a brass instrument while wearing sunglasses on the Arsenio Hall show.
I wish Bill Clinton was here, so I would apologize to him for you black folks. I mean, you black folks tricked him. You went in that big old black pot and said, here, white boy, you black. What kind of fool is you? Huh? What kind of fool is you? See, I have a son, a chiropractor now, Christian. He's 8 years old. He came to me crying. Dad, my brothers and sisters is laughing at me. I said, why? He said, well, I built me one of these castles, and I make like it's my house. Do you see anything wrong with that? I said, no, there's nothing wrong with that until you start using it as your address. So I tell Bill Clinton, ain't nothing wrong with being black as long as you're playing. But when you try to use it as your address,
The fourth and final black is political black. Now, this is the black that most so-called blacks do not want to be. See, this is the type of black that is addressed in the one drop rule. It's the type of black that the 3/5 compromise addresses. And political black is the reason why Puerto Rican Fat Joe,
Latinos are black,
is only black on the microphone, but not in the paperwork. See, there's a reason that his driver's license doesn't say black, although he wants exclusivity to use the N-word. See, political blackness is why someone who is phenotypically black would rather identify as Hispanic or Latino.
So when Dominicans get to that place where it's like, okay, I feel pressured by the black community to say that I'm black, but I don't want to be that. And then the white people are rejecting me. So it's like, forget the both of y'all. Forget y'all white people, forget y'all black people. I'm Dominican, that's it. And that is how they just separate themselves from the whole race issue that they are faced with coming to this country. Because in their minds, it's like, in my country, I don't have to deal with this. In my country, it is my complexion and my phenotypes that define who I am racially. This doesn't make sense to me. I don't like this whole system that you guys have here. So you know what? Forget the both of y'all. I'm Dominican. That's it. Plain and simple.
Even though they may be a spitting image of James Evans of Good Times, rest in peace to John Amos, but they do not want to be black, because if they believe that it is black people that are being treated poorly, and black people that can't inherit land or vote or have to ride under the bus, then they can avoid becoming a victim of the same fate. by simply not calling themselves black. See, now, political black also doubles as a nationality in the United States. So certain individuals who are politically non-black may suddenly become politically black based on whether or not there's an advantage to doing so. So if America ever gave reparations and stipulates that the only people eligible to receive reparations were black people, then the entire country would become politically black overnight. Which is why, to prevent this, the criteria is lineage-based and not race, color, culture-based. So, what does it mean when a candidate's blackness is emphasized? Are they black in all of the ways that you are? Or do we assume that all four elements of blackness are implicit in the black ladle? Not in the way that black is used in America. See, phenotypical black is conflated with cultural black, and cultural black is conflated with genetic black, and genetic black is conflated with political black. See, people that identify as black, who also have American roots that predate the Civil War, tend to consider only one aspect of what it is to be black. And that aspect is heavily defined by the plight of their ancestors who were also black. Now, what do I mean? Well, to showcase this, here's a video that displays the black dichotomy, where black Americans with ancestral roots in the United States are confused as to why a Cuban who identifies as black and looks phenotypically black, why would he speak in such a way that conflates his ancestral identity with theirs?
You keep saying we, you know, and it's like your kind of connection with the black community, but you're Cuban. Like
I'm black first.
Yeah.
I'm black first.
So
what
I
I always
ask,
tell
like,
people,
how you identify
but
yourself.
are you full Cuban? I'm full Cuban. I thought he was black too.
I know,
but I am black.
So evidently, when they say black, they are making an implicit distinction between immigrants and natives, or foundational black American. This is where the confusion is introduced as to what are you talking about when you say black. He means genetic. They mean lineage.
No, here's it. Everyone thinks that you are like the black lineage,
all right,
like, you know, like.
Let me explain how it works. You know, this is another thing that I feel like we as black people get caught up in, that
semantics
that separates us as opposed to uniting us. We get caught up in where the ship dropped us off versus where the ship picked us up. You know what I'm saying? We all come from the same root. It's just a tree with different branches.
See, it would be different if he were having this conversation in Cuba, but he isn't. He's having it in the United States. So when he speaks, it sounds as if his intentions were to shed light on the need for solidarity, saying that we all come from the same tree. But if the idea of being black ties you to the accomplishments or the toil of my ancestors, it also makes me guilty for the sins of yours. So it's disingenuous to say that we fought the Civil War when your we was somewhere else in a different country. And it only appears to be the genetic and the phenotypical cohorts of blackness that are stereotyped as always looking for the hookup. So under the guise of solidarity, there actually is a more one-sided benefit to there being no distinction between the lineages of blackness. See, when the whitest of white America and culture, when she speaks, see, even she knows who America's attention should go to. Now, her bloodline in the United States goes all the way back to the settlers, which is far more deeply rooted than most of the population that makes up white America today. And this is what she said.
The way liberals have treated blacks like children, and many of their policies have been harmful to blacks, at least they got the beneficiary group right. We do have to, I mean, we shouldn't there is the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow laws. We don't owe the homeless. We don't owe feminists. We don't owe women who are desirous of having abortions, but that's, or gays who want to get married to one another. That's what civil rights has become for much of the left. They dropped the blacks after 5 minutes.
Immigrant rights are not civil rights?
No, I think civil rights are for blacks.
See, this is essentially the problem, and the Republicans
What
understand.
have we done to the immigrants? We owe black people something. We have a legacy of slavery. Immigrants haven't even been in this country.
Now, who do you believe she was talking about? Do you believe she was talking about Kamala Harris? What about Barack Obama? What about a Cuban or a Haitian or a Jamaican? Absolutely not. She's talking about one people. And when she says black, she's talking about the political status of a specific people. See, but the genetic conversation gets conflated with the political conversation. And when a candidate is being pushed as the first black, what lineage do you believe that they are trying to insinuate that black person is connected to? What merit is your blackness hanging on when in one breath you tout?
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No.
That type of black definitely cracks.